Yeah. Yeah, I lost track of where I was in my college. It's 5-12 1 week against the spread. At this, the last I had it added up, and that was forever ago. I haven't added it up the entire freaking season. At that point, no. NFL, at that point, it was 38-39. Wow. It was 38-39. I finished 1-0 with 1 week to go. So I went on a pretty good run. 93-67. I should go on a rampage to look up my Yes, didn't realize this was live. 2 people on board. College football predictions. So we'll have to edit this down. College football predictions. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Mark Rogers TV's college football predictions. We've got a number of games today and tomorrow. We're going to run through the next 2 days. I was looking at my bowl records and my college and NFL picks. I haven't publicized my NFL picks for a long time. Maybe I should this year. Had a pretty good run at 93-67 against the spread in recent weeks after a bad start. 131-106 against the spread NFL. A little over 55%. That's enough to make you money. But, of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. People have asked me about the Christmas tree. It will stay up through the New Year's. All right, bowl games. I'm only 8-8 against the spread. Hopefully, Army can cover 10.5 against North Texas to get me over 500. This is typically when I've done poorly is the group of 5 games because I don't cover the group of 5 during the regular season. Then I kick it in at the end of the bowl season when the Power 5 teams play, other than yesterday when I went 1-2 against the spread. Recent seasons, I had a downer in 2012 at 15-20 against the spread in the bowl season. Other than that, it's been mid-60 percentile, a couple 21-14s, a 23-12, a 23-16 last year. All right, let's run them down. I like a lot of points here. Temple and Wake. I know that the Owls score and Wake Forest has issues on offense, but Wake Forest gets 11 points, and I'll take it. Temple wins the game. Washington State, Minnesota. I've wrestled with this one. I thought that before the players were suspended that I might pull the trigger on the upset with Minnesota. The injuries or the suspensions for Minnesota are substantial here. They lose a starting safety. They lose cornerbacks that are in the rotation. We've detailed that on the previews before. So Washington State wins this with Luke Falk, but I love the 9 points at the Holiday Bowl. Minnesota plays tough. They keep it relatively close. Take 9 points there. Boise State, Baylor, similar situation here. Go with the Broncos to win. Baylor's lost 6 consecutive games. Take the 7 points, though. 7.5 is what we've got it listed in Vegas, 7.5 points. All right, tomorrow's games at the Pinstripe Bowl. We've got Pitt Northwestern. We've sent out like 4 different preview perspectives on that with a number of bloggers and myself predicting that game. I think this is going to be extremely entertaining. Understand it might be windy in New York City. That could affect the passing games, of course, and both teams have thrown it successfully. Not a ton, but they've thrown it successfully more so than they have in recent years, especially the Wildcats. Take Pitt to win a close game. Northwestern to cover 5.5 points. All right, we've got West Virginia and Miami, and this is the game that I've wrestled with unlike any other game through the first 16 to 17 bowl games. I have gone back and forth on this. Neither of these teams has really defeated a good team. West Virginia's best win at home against Kansas State early in the season, 17-16. Otherwise, they beat up on the weak Big 12. They got mauled by Oklahoma at home by 4 touchdowns. They lost to Oklahoma State by 17. They only beat the likes of Youngstown State by 17 points. They beat BYU by a field goal. They beat Mizzou by a couple touchdowns. They played some relatively bad teams close in the Big 12 schedule. If you run down the games. Texas Tech was the only blowout win that they had. Most impressive win, probably TCU 34-10. So best wins for West Virginia, Kansas State 8-4, Baylor and TCU at 6-6. Miami, best win coming down the stretch was definitely against Pitt. Impressive performance, winning by 23 points. They beat NC State, a team that we saw win a bowl game yesterday. Miami won that by 2 touchdowns. NC State had some turnover issues. Miami went through a stretch midseason that they lost to. They were competitive with, but lost to the best teams in their schedule. Should have won the Florida State game. Lost to North Carolina by a couple scores as well. Actually, by a touchdown at home, 20-13. All right, listen to me here. Take West Virginia plus the 3 points. Miami wins the game. This is going to be razor close, I think. All right, Utah wins bowl games 12-1 in its last 13 appearances. Kyle Whittingham is 9-1 at Utah in bowl appearances. The only thing that concerns me in this one, in taking Utah to cover the points, is that they typically don't blow anybody out. They're just not built to blow teams out, but they are superior if you go through the metrics and the matchups. This is not a good matchup for the Hoosiers. I think Indiana is going to come. They're going to play tough. Utah pulls away late. They cover the 5.5 points against the Hoosiers. And finally, tomorrow night, I love this pick, and maybe I love it too much. Maybe it should scare me. Maybe Bill Snyder's magic should scare me, because Kansas State is inferior athletically across the board to Texas A&M. Trevor Knight's status, I've tried to find it all over the place. I would love to know his status for this game, because he had the shoulder injury going back to the Mississippi State game. He was supposed to miss the entire regular season. He came back against LSU. Then he hurt his knee. And so Trevor Knight's status would prove key in this one for me, but it's still just a 2.5 point spread at the Texas Bowl. And the Aggies are going to do what the SEC has done in this bowl game against the Big 12, the last 2 trips, with LSU over Texas Tech big, and Arkansas over Texas huge by 25 points. And Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl against this Kansas State team, winning by 25 points last year. Take A&M, confidence pick, lay the 2.5 against Kansas State. There are bowl games for the next 2 days. We'll be back in a couple more days, obviously, to knock out the rest of the games. And of course, we're going to knock out more previews and recaps over the next couple days as we head into the weekend and the New Year's Day bowl games, and of course the college football playoffs. So we need to hear from you now. Always love to hear your picks, because I'm certainly not tearing it up. I have in the past. It's on video, but not this year at 8-8 against the spread in the bowl season. But we are in our comfort zone. What should be our comfort zone now in the Power 5? And we always like to discuss it with you right here on Mark Rogers TV.